What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing, I think, a topic that a lot of people wanted to talk about over the course of the last 4 games of the regular season, and that is Patrick Williams. Now, at the end of the day, I did want to take as much time as possible before we discuss the struggles that Patrick Williams are going through. But at the end of the day, I think last game was a very big indication of what's going to happen potentially in the future. Patrick Williams only played 15 minutes or 14 minutes in the last game against the Boston Celtics. Billy Donovan took him out early and didn't play him until the second half. He got some garbage time minutes, and that is very, very interesting considering he started that game for the Chicago Bulls. So, with all that being said, I do want to talk about the struggles of Patrick Williams. I do want to talk about what I think we should do with Patrick Williams. And all things considered, all I could do now as well is hope that things can turn around with Patrick Williams, and we'll have to wait and see whether it can. There is a lot to get through, but before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about Patrick Williams, your overall thoughts and opinions on where he could be in a couple games down the line. Where do you think he'll be within game 20, game 30, game 40? Where do you think he'll be by the trade deadline? Where do you think he'll be by the end of the season? Will everybody turn on Patrick Williams? Will there be a resurgence in the support of Patrick Williams? Or is he just going to be that type of player that isn't a superstar player, but maybe could do a job on this bench throughout, I guess, the majority of his career, or I guess the majority of the time he's on the Chicago Bulls? So as I mentioned before, Patrick Williams was put in an extremely unprecedented situation for him where he got taken out in the first half very, very early, and we didn't see him until the second half. And then even when we saw him in the second half, we took him out very, very early, and he played in garbage time minutes, altogether adding up around 15 minutes in the last game against the Boston Celtics. And there was every reason, in my opinion, to make him sit out for that game because he wasn't being productive, and he hasn't been productive for 4 straight games in the regular season. Now, I'm the type of person that had believed, especially when we saw the amazing performances Javonte Green had in preseason, Patrick Williams should not have started the regular season. I was always a believer from game 1 till now that Patrick Williams should have been starting on the bench. And unfortunately, his role in the starting lineup has not been best suited for him. He's not done well in the starting lineup. And I think there is an element of just really broken confidence right now with Patrick Williams, which is extremely upsetting. But I don't think starting him and putting him under the pressure is going to make any sort of, I guess, help for Patrick Williams. So we've kind of seen 2 extremes here. We've seen Patrick Williams start where he doesn't deserve to start, and now we've just seen him taken out of the game and playing garbage time minutes. 2 levels of the extreme that I do find very interesting with Patrick Williams. Now, as well, Patrick Williams does have to learn what next step he needs to take and how he's going to approach it. He's a team player. He says that all the time, and I admire that he's a team player, but for the most part, he has not been aggressive in almost every single possible way you can imagine. He's not been aggressive in rebounding. He's not been aggressive on defense. He's not been aggressive in scoring. He's not been aggressive with his ball movement either. He's kind of just been a guy that has not been really productive at all at the starting power forward position. So Billy Donovan made the choice to sit him out for the most part against Boston, and I think that was ultimately the right decision. And I think he should do that with more players, excluding just Patrick Williams. He did the same thing with Kobe White. If there's a game where, as I mentioned before, Goran Dragic is not playing the best, we should not see him play a lot of minutes. Same with Alex Caruso, same with Javonte Green, same with Kobe White, same with Ayo Dosunmu, the list goes on. And Patrick Williams was one of those guys that suffered. That's the adjustments that we wanted to see Billy Donovan made, and he made it. But let's take a deeper dive into Patrick Williams. Unfortunately, no one's going to make Patrick Williams develop the way that we want him to develop, except for Patrick Williams. The coach can only do so much. The front office can only believe in you so much. Patrick Williams has to deliver on himself. I believe Patrick Williams believes in himself. I really do. But I don't think he can express his aggressiveness the way that we like. And unfortunately, it's one of those situations where if we don't see an aggressive Patrick Williams, we are going to slowly, for most people, have already lost faith in what he can bring to the table. I know a lot of the friends I talk to want Patrick Williams to be benched at least, if not traded. I know a lot of people in the comment section want Patrick Williams to be traded to any team and see what we can get out of him. And slowly, day by day, game by game, more people are going to be on that current bandwagon and be on that current, I guess, thought of mind when it comes to Patrick Williams. But the only way and I really mean this, the only way that Patrick Williams can build himself out of that current situation that some Bulls fans feel is to start performing and doing it his own way, believing that he could do it by himself. Yes, it's a team game. Basketball is always a team game. I'm not asking for Patrick Williams to drop 25, 30 points every single night, become the #1 option, be a superstar level player, never pass the ball. That's not what I'm asking for Patrick Williams. That's very hard to ask for. And anybody that does ask that for Patrick Williams does not understand the current team that we currently have, where they have 3 all-star level quality scorers on this team, and they all need to get their shots up. So Patrick Williams is not going to average 25 to 30 points, but he has to be better than the current version of Patrick Williams that we see. He has to be better than the 4 points Patrick Williams. He has to be better than 5 to 6 shots per game Patrick Williams. And I know he can be better, but it shouldn't be hard to ask for Patrick Williams to shoot the ball more. It shouldn't be hard to ask for Patrick Williams to drive to the basket. But yet it is something that is currently being relatively a big problem for the Chicago Bulls. But the only way that it can change is for Patrick Williams to change, whether it's his mindset, which was praised in the offseason, whether it's work ethic and how much work he produces, which is something that was praised in the offseason. We need to see that translate over to the NBA. If all these people have been praising Patrick Williams and how he's approached the offseason, it's time to really show it where it matters the most, and that is in the regular season. That is against games like Indiana that we have next, or games like Boston that we just faced, games like the Spurs, and just continue on and find your consistency. But all things considered, I don't think he deserves to be starting as well. I want Patrick Williams to do well, but I think personally he has to do well on the bench. He's given no real reason of why he should be starting for the Chicago Bulls right now outside of his potential. But unfortunately, potential doesn't always win you games. We've got minutes on the line. We've got bad starts that we need to fix. And other players, I think, could do a better job at helping us fix those problems. And to be honest, I think it's a win-win for the Chicago Bulls to see Patrick Williams on the bench. He plays on the bench. You're probably going to play with either DeMar or Zach LaVine, most likely, that will come in with this bench unit and contribute. And then all of a sudden, you're probably the second option. And that will give you the license to maybe go and do things that you don't do when you're in the starting lineup with Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, and Ayo Dosunmu from time to time, who just wants to be aggressive as well. With Patrick Williams on the bench, you've got maybe Kobe White that you have to compete with for shots. Sometimes he barely plays. And then maybe Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan. I think he could be much more aggressive and play his own style off of the bench. And maybe after a couple of games on the bench, he can translate over into the starting lineup and play the same way, maybe with more experience and more confidence. Because I do think the biggest thing for Patrick Williams is that I don't think he has confidence in himself. I think he does believe in himself, but right now his confidence is shot all the way down. And I don't think starting him is going to help the Bulls, help him, help anybody involved. Put Patrick Williams on the bench. I don't think it helps him to take him out and only play him in garbage time. But put him on the bench and see what he can do. Let's see if that experiment works. The whole team is supposed to be experimenting with new things. I think Patrick Williams on the bench has to be an experiment. And we'll wait and see. If he doesn't deliver on the bench, then maybe he is a guy that we turn to for garbage time minutes. But all things considered, I'm sure that's not what many people want to see. And if that's going to be the case, then maybe you do look for a trade for Patrick Williams. But ideally, I do think an experiment needs to be made, and I think it has to be on the bench for the Chicago Bulls. Let me know if you agree or disagree, but that's personally what I think is wrong with Patrick Williams. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments below what you also think he could perform with against the Indiana Pacers. That's our next game as the Chicago Bulls team. And obviously all eyes will be on Patrick Williams because we can't see another game like this. If it's going to be 5, 6, 7 games where Patrick Williams is underperforming, more and more people are going to turn away from him. And that's not what we want to see. So with all that being said, have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.